Hello everyone, from Ross here, and today I wanted to show you a complete catalogue of every species of dinosaur and flying reptile LEGO has released. Now just to clarify, I'm talking only about the current amazing style that LEGO has been using for dinosaurs since 2012. This means I'll not be talking about the old dinosaurs, adventure dinosaurs, Dino Attack, or brick build dinosaurs. I don't mean that there aren't any good molds there. For example, I like this mutant lizard. However, overall, the modern molds are just perfect. Now we'll go through every single of the 23 molds LEGO has released as of 2022. I own all of them, but I do not own every single color variation, obviously. Let's start with the smallest. The so-called Baby Dino was released in 2018 with Fallen Kingdom. It has a single start hole and no stars on the top. It's been released in 11 colors and it can be used in many scenarios. You can obviously use it as an infant dinosaur. This one especially fits with my orange T-Rex. However, you can just as well use it to portray tiny theropods. And until we get a proper compy mold, this is the next best thing. Number 2 is probably the cutest mold. The baby Ankylosaurus is just so tiny and sweet. Even the single stud on its back is well hidden as an osteoderm. Released in 2020, this dino has 2 color variations and it's still super cute despite having no articulations, and I will stop right now. Next up is this year's Baby Raptor, which so far only depicts Beta from Dominion. She has a stubby tail, a single stud, and in minifigure scale is actually close in size to a real Velociraptor. Getting a new small mold like this really makes me hope for more small creatures in the future. Atrociraptor would be among my top picks. Now here's a mold with a unique mechanic. 2020's Baby Triceratops has 2 color variants. This one is very similar to 2019's adult Triceratops, and I'm sure that's no coincidence. This is the only dinosaur which can have this section with 2 studs removed to be ridden just like a Lego horse. This must be a reference to Jurassic World's petting zoo, and a fun fact I discovered is that a saddle piece can just perfectly fit on it. This just shows great attention to detail, as neither set with the strike actually comes with a saddle. So it's great that it's still possible, thank you to the designers. I need to get a brown saddle. Here we have a Juvenile Dilophosaurus from 2019. While it's not officially referred to as juvenile, I like to call it that to differentiate from the bigger Dilophosaurus. It's closer in size to Jurassic Park's Dilophosaurus, while the real animal was bigger, and that's why I'm not a huge fan of this mold. The dull coloration and the fact that the exact same Dilophosaur was released this year with no color change doesn't exactly help. And that's a shame because Dilophosaurus is my favorite dinosaur. Interestingly though, this mold has only 2 fingers, or is that a third? But it's not on the other side. Either way, this allows you not only to attach bricks to the single stud on the back, but also to the hand. Now, we're done with the baby dinosaurs and can move to adult ones. 2022's Pyroraptor is available in only 1 set so far. This mold type is similar to the Juvenile Dilophosaurus, meaning only the jaw is articulated. On one hand, it's a little disappointing, but I feel that such a small mold could look too messy if it had a lot of joints. In this figure, the left hand serves as a connection point, and the feather molds are just great. However, the overall shape seems kind of elongated to me, as if the dinosaur's stalking somebody or whatever. And from certain angles the tail looks a little bit short, but all of that is made up with the fabulous colors. The Atrociraptor from 2022 is one of my favorite molds. The square shape of the head and the fat belly look very, satisfying to me, if that's the right way to describe it. Again, we see the same type of mold like the 2 previous ones. The jaw is reused for the 3rd time, and the arms and legs are the same as in Dilophosaurus with the exception of the sickle claw added. The coloration is nothing short of perfect. Out of the 4 Atrociraptors we see in Dominion, here we have the interesting white ghost, as well as the beautiful orange tiger. I suppose it's probable that we will get the remaining red and panthera as recolors in future years. Finally, we get to one of the originals. Released in 2012 for LEGO Dino, Coelophysis is a very interesting choice for a dinosaur model. While this figure lacks any articulations, it is quite bendy due to being made from rubber. The design similarities to the other 3 dinos suggest it may have been an inspiration for the latter ones. This mold can have a stick piece attached to its jaw, not its hand, and there exist 3 color variations of this dinosaur. And this one, which came with the Jurassic World Lego game, has for some reason been labeled as Gallimimus. Probably because there was no Gallimimus mold in 2015 and Coelophysis didn't appear in the Jurassic franchise. Now, however, I believe that name should be discarded and this species should only be referred to as Coelophysis. Leaving the small molds behind, we come to what could be called the medium-sized dinosaurs. This is a classic 2012. The Raptor. I won't call it the Velociraptor because of their ridiculous size. Designed before Jurassic World, they clearly draw inspiration from Jurassic Park's size for velociraptors. However, as you can see, compared to a minifig, these things are even more massive than the Jurassic Park raptors. Either way, those figures have 4 studs, can hold items in their hands, and they have some proper articulations with movable legs, hands, head, and jaw. The design, while not necessarily accurate, is still cool and good looking. There exist a lot because 13 color variants and that's the most of any dinosaur. I own the beautiful Jurassic Park design as well as 2 blues. The Fallen Kingdom one is more pleasant to the eye, while the Dominion one is much more accurate to the blue in the film. I believe that it lacks a little bit of secondary color, maybe dark gray, to be ideal. No idea why this one is green. While I would rather focus only on new releases of LEGO dinosaurs, the Raptor squad is actually something I would like to have. Charlie, Delta, and especially Ego have great color designs, and I would really like to get my hands on them. However, they're pretty expensive, seeing as it's somehow been 7 years since Jurassic World came out. I hope that a solution comes with some sort of a legacy Jurassic World set. We did get the release of Indominus Rex, so well, why not the Raptor squad? It's time for another herbivore, which is great, because there aren't too many of these in LEGO form. The Stygimoloch was released in 2018, and there are 2 color variants. This one looks just like the Stygimoloch from Fallen Kingdom, and the mold is perfect. Very nicely reusing the raptor body, Stygimoloch has legs without stickle claws, small 3-fingered arms, and a beautifully sculpted head to which 4 horn pieces can be attached. Next up, with exact same colors but different pattern, is Gallimimus. This is the only variant which was released in 2020. The only difference from Stygimoloch's mold is the head. Gallimimus has a very good looking long neck ending with a small head. The jaw piece is the same one as used for small theropods, which in my opinion shows great resourcefulness. I love when dinosaur pieces are reused in a proper way. This new dinosaur species needed only 1 new piece and it still looks terrific. That's great because it allows LEGO to work on more new molds as well as ties all the dinosaurs closer together. Thanks to reused pieces, they look like they all fit well, and I like that. This doesn't mean, however, that LEGO always reuses pieces correctly, but we'll talk about that later. Here we have the big Dilophosaurus, and the mold looks great. It was released in 2015 for the premiere of Jurassic World, and reuses Raptor's body, arms, and jaw. It, however, came with a new leg piece and a fantastic frilled and crested head. It might be a little bit of a shame that the frill can't be removed, however it still looks amazing. The colors are a bit funky. There is a second variant with very Jurassic Park-like colors, but I like this one as well. The lime and dark green do come across like kind of a toxic colors, which remind you that Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus is venomous. A great mold and one of my favorites. Next up, we have a creature which is not a dinosaur. The pterosaur named Pteranodon was released in 2012 and has come in 6 variations so far. For some reason, I managed to get 5 of them. The mold of this reptile is quite interesting with movable wings, as well as a rubbery beak. While the wings aren't foldable to allow the Pteranodon to stand on all 4s, it also looks natural just supporting itself like that. Unlike other models, in Pteranodon's case, the upper jaw is actually the one which allows it to open the beak. The neck has 3 stop points, however, I've had this olive green one for almost 10 years and it's quite worn out. I also bought this used brown Pteranodon which was missing a bottom jaw, so I just substituted it with another piece. There are 2 inverted studs on the bottom to put Pteranodon on display, and the Pteranodon can actually hold items in its feet claws. Out of all the colors, the blue one may just be my favorite. Interestingly, all Pteranodons have unique color transitions on their wings, something that's not present in many LEGO pieces. A great design an interesting creature overall. It makes you wish that we get more non-dinosaur creatures in the future. For example, Dominion's Dimetrodon. Finally, moving to creatures with 6 studs on top, we have Triceratops. The fact that this mold was released in 2012 and has been the only herbivore for 6 years until 2018 proves that we have way too few LEGO herbivores. We only have 3 variants of this guy, and one of them was given in Atrociraptor colors for some reason. It's a real shame that we still don't have all the ceratopsians. They would only need to change the upper part of the head mold. Come on, LEGO. Nasutoceratops? Sinoceratops? Well, either way, the trike has a perfect mold. A fitting, chubby body with a short tail. The 2 front legs are slightly shorter than the hind ones, and the head has a perfect shape. The frill looks great, and the rubbery horns add to the signature Triceratops look. Maybe one nitpick about this particular variant is that those studs should be this brown or red instead of olive green. I also know about a very fun fact. I've had this trike for quite a while, and only recently did I find out that it can actually hold items in its beak. The wonderful design of the Triceratops only makes me wish that we get more great molds in the future. We got to the villain of Fallen Kingdom himself. This is the only variant of the Indoraptor, which came out in 2018, giving us many new pieces. While the coloration is obviously perfect, the mold is slightly confusing. I'm not talking about the shape, because that's perfect. The sleek figure, the extremely long tail, and the iconic head are spot on. It's the size, which seems to be overly exaggerated. Indoraptor wasn't that big, but well, I think I've gotten used to it. The Indoraptor's hands have an interesting feature. They have rotatable wrists and can actually hold bricks or minifigures. This just adds to the great overall creepy design and all the scary poses this figure can take. Reusing all the pieces from the Indoraptor except for the head is 2019's Baryonyx. While maybe a bit too thin, this figure looks quite spot on, but it's not without problems. This is our first example of a badly reused piece. The Baryonyx obviously didn't have the sickle claws on its feet. It's a real shame that this was fixed for both Dilophosaurus and Atrociraptor, but not for Baryonyx legs. If they wanted a large claw, they should have put it on the hand. Another less important problem is the head joint. It's located on the neck instead of the head. This means that while articulation is just as good as in any other dinosaur, only a couple positions look natural while others don't. But besides those 2 issues, I'm a big fan of the Baryonyx. This year's Therizinosaurus, which is the only variant, is another herbivore, which is really good, but this mold has quite a few issues. Firstly, the reused Indoraptor parts don't necessarily fit. Therizinosaurus wasn't flimsy, it was robust. Figure really could have used a new medium-sized body, something between Indoraptor and T-Rex. The head has a wonderful shape and in a great way reuses the raptor jaw. The colors and the pattern are also good, except here and here where the tan abruptly just stops. I feel it really should continue. The only good thing about this issue is that you can actually rotate the tail 180 degrees and it's still gonna look okay. It doesn't break the pattern, and that isn't exactly possible with all the other dinosaurs. The head suffers from the same Baryonyx problem. It looks great in some positions, but in some it looks bad. Also, I feel that molded claws would have been better than brick-built ones, but at least they should have given us those rotatable wrists, because pronated hands are bad. But all of this can slide if you ask me, that's fine I guess. Biggest issue is that they gave sickle claws to a herbivore! And it's such a shame, because Therizinosaurus is such a cool dinosaur, and this figure could use a couple improvements. It's not all bad. If you cover the feet and position it correctly, it looks really cool, but the problem is, you shouldn't have to do that. It should look perfect all the time. LEGO, get it together. The Ankylosaurus, released in 2020, is the last herbivore on the list. This only variation we have so far has great colors and in general is a wonderful dinosaur. This mold has 8 studs on his back and a very unique build. The 4 legs are cleverly reused from the trike, but other pieces are very interesting. This dinosaur actually has a separate back and belly, both of which are connected on the inside as well as on the outside with those 2x3 tiles. One aspect of such an intriguing design is that the sides of the dino have very straight lines, however, I don't think that's an issue. The rubbery tail, attached by a pin, can swing left and right to strike deadly blows. What is strange is the fact that the head is hollow and has a large hole in the bottom. Either way, I'm a huge fan of this design, and it seems like the bottom piece may be separate on purpose to allow a Stegosaurus mold in the future. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a Lost World set at last. This is the best. 2022's only variant of Quetzalcoatlus is my favorite mold of them all. That's probably because of the fact that Azakis are just the best. Having seen Quetzalcoatlus in Dominion trailers, I was really hoping LEGO would turn them into a figure, and they made my dream come true. This humongous pterosaur mold with 8 studs on its back is nothing short of phenomenal. I know some people wish it were more articulated, but I feel that more joints would make it ugly, and right now it's beautiful. The only articulated parts are the super long beak and the wings. Unlike the Pteranodons, Quetz has much stronger wing joints, which makes sense since the wings are so much bigger. There's a lot of rotation available in multiple axes, however a lot of the positions look weird. Again, we have 2 anti-studs on the bottom for support. The underside does lack a little bit of detail, and this block number thing is annoying. The feet are bigger than Pteranodons, but still can grasp LEGO items. The Quetzalcoatlus also means that the only pterosaur from the franchise we still need is Dimorphodon. I have to say, it would be quite nice to have the 3 pterosaurs side by side. Humongous, normal, and tiny. Released in 2018 for Fallen Kingdom, the Carnotaurus is our first large theropod. There exists 2 variants of this predator, and this dinosaur has a large body and tail covered with spikes, which it reuses from the Indominus Rex. This doesn't seem like the perfect choice because Carnotaurus was a smaller creature. Like Therizinosaurus, this guy really could use a medium-sized body. The legs are also large, but the arms are just as tiny as they should be. They are the same pieces that the Stygimoloch and Gallimimus use. The head has a fitting short shape. The spikes and Carnotaurus' signature horns are also present. Both the head and the jaw are very thin, which is ideal. A good figure overall, but it could surely benefit from a smaller size. It's time for the most iconic dinosaur of all time, the Tyrannosaurus. Released all the way back in 2012, this super predator has 8 variants. I actually own 3 of them. 2 are from LEGO Dino and serve as back and doe from the Lost World. I've actually had this orange T-Rex for about a decade now, and it's the first LEGO dinosaur I ever got. I remember back then being like, I finally have a proper LEGO dinosaur. I've wanted one for so long. Hey, maybe it's just one, but I won't ever get any more of those dinosaurs. This is enough. Well, I was wrong, but I am glad I was wrong. This green T-Rex I bought not too long ago to complement my LEGO Jurassic Park The Lost World RV, which you can watch on the channel self-promotion. And this Rex from a Dominion set will serve as Rexy in upcoming animations. In terms of all 8 variants, color-wise, they're all pretty good, except for the ugly lime green T-Rex. Ugh. There's actually one very interesting variant, the ultra rare yellow, orange, black T-Rex, which appears in one exclusive set. And if I remember correctly, though I'm not sure, I believe there exists only 500 of those T-Rexes. I mean, I would like to have it, but seeing the price, no. In terms of the mold of the T-Rex, there's nothing to add, it's just perfect. The proportions and size are ideal, the 2-finger hands can hold items, while the beautifully molded head can take care of eating the minifigures. There she is, the Indominus Rex. I wonder if you know where that quote is from, but released in 2015 to go with Jurassic World, this hybrid got itself 2 variants, which in fact differentiate not only by color, but also by the piece used for arms. The older Indominus had the same arms that Indoraptor has, while this one had a new piece released in 2020. Those arms still can hold items, bricks, or minifigures, thanks to a stud hidden inside, though I'm not sure they're as fitting for the Indominus. Perhaps what they should have done is left the Indominus with the old arms, the one with rotating wrists, while save this for the Giganotosaurus, because I think they would fit nicely. The body and the tail are modified T-Rex pieces with spikes added on top. The head looks great with all those jagged teeth and spikes, and the jaw is eerily thin, just like in the movie. Its articulation also allows it to have one closed and two open positions. The coloration of this dino is perfect. The light bluish gray fits the pale Indominus just right, and the silver spots add to the uniqueness of this infamous movie monster. The only slight downside is that the new blue looks kinda weird next to it, but I think that's more of an issue with blue, not the Indominus. The Indominus is right. The first Indominus was mostly pure white, and I didn't get it in 2015, so I'm very glad that LEGO re-released it. Though I'm curious how they're going to re-release the Indoraptor, because they're probably gonna do it at some point. And finally, we reach our largest creature. This year's only variant of the Giganotosaurus is the biggest dinosaur mold LEGO released. Reusing the legs of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the tail of Indominus, it's a very clever idea. The arms, though, should have 3 fingers. Instead, we got the reused T-Rex arms with only 2 fingers. I see why they didn't use Stygimoloch, as they would have been too small. Maybe the big 3-fingered ones would be a better choice if it wasn't for the head. Giganotosaurus is the only dinosaur to reuse other species' head. This is the Indominus head, and that's not a good thing at all. I know, Indominus' design has similarities with the Biotin Giga, however, I wouldn't go as far as to completely reuse the head. Reusing the bottom jaw would be fine with me, but at least give us a proper new skull. It's not all bad. It's fine, but it could be better. That's also the reason I feel that giving Giga the Indominus Rex hands would be a step too far and make them look way too similar. There is, however, an amazing thing about the Giga. A completely new body piece. I expected them just to modify the T-Rex body again, but they actually enlarged the whole thing. It's way larger than the other body piece. Also, the leg attach points are lower to make the figure taller. The hump design, while not at all accurate to the real dinosaur, is still super cool. And I suppose you can always blame that on an impure clone DNA. Maybe they used camel and crocodile DNA to fill the gaps, you know? It's really great, but I really wonder what it would look like if it were 1 stud wider to make it a bit more fat. I also find it funny that the only 2 species without studs are the biggest and the smallest. This new body piece leads me to suspect that we will be getting a Spinosaurus figure in the nearish future. All they have to do is change the hump for a spine. At the same time, this unexpected but so good size increase gives me hope that one day we will get a huge Brachiosaurus. And well, that's all the dinosaurs and pterosaurs so far. They're all amazing, and only 2 or 3 could use an improvement. There is still so many dinosaurs for LEGO to make, so let's wait for that. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and as always, have a good day.